Hey world, it's your host Marchelle. Thanks for tuning into my podcast, Run On Thoughts. Here we talk about everything and nothing because we are not afraid to be all of ourselves even as we evolve. And that's my thought for my fellow thought thinkers as we unpack our traumas, past hurts, and other BS. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Come on, thought thinkers, let's go. It is crazy out here. It is an early Sunday morning. They say that the snow was about to start. It hasn't started yet. And I am hoping that it changes its mind and wants to take a nap because I missed the first snowstorm because I was on a cruise having fun in the sun. And now I'm back and now they're saying it's going to be a freaking blizzard. A blizzard. But I got all my snacks. I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm sounding a little crazy, but that doesn't stop the progress. Today, let's just jump right into it. But before I begin, you guys know that I want to stand in a place of gratitude and thank every last one of you for listening from the very beginning, and thank any one of you who is listening from this moment. I hope you get what you need. I hope and welcome you to go to runONthoughts.com and subscribe, share your stories, become a thought thinker because you deserve to unpack. You deserve to unlearn. You deserve to heal. You deserve to discover who you really are. You deserve to become your authentic self because you deserve you today. With that, exactly what are we talking about today? Today, I'm keeping it simple. Taking off the mask. Guys, it is time to take off the fucking mask. Today's episode was inspired by a conversation between Angie Martinez and Tisha Campbell when she was talking about how she still wears a mask. And part of that mask is fear. And I realized that so many of us are wearing a mask. And then even when I heard that conversation, taking off the mask that she was talking about, I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it, but then I was having a conversation with my sister and there it was again. And that, guys, is how I know what I want to talk about. It'll come up in life and then it'll come up again. And then that is how I use the universal energy to let me know exactly what I want to be talking about with you guys. It's crazy about this mask because I have heard about masks, about race and about femininity, but I realized that many of us are wearing a mask for survival. So many of us have learned to wear masks long before we knew what authenticity even meant. Masks to survive, masks to be liked, masks to be safe. Could you imagine that shit? You have to wear a mask to be safe. A lot of the unpacking that most of us are doing is the unpacking of the mask. You're wearing this hard shell like luggage over your body, over your soul, over who you are because you have been told that you are not enough. You as your authentic self won't be accepted. We learn which parts of ourselves are acceptable and which parts need to be hidden away, polished, edited, or quieted. And I'm telling you, stop playing small. Stop being quiet. Stop walking with your head down. Stop being humble. Stop people pleasing. Because that people pleasing becomes protection. Silence becomes safety. Shrinking becomes survival. But somewhere along the way, the mask stops being a shield and starts becoming a prison. You are living in a prison of your own making because of all the societal norms that make you think that you are not enough. And you are enough. Of course, you are enough. You were born enough. You are here. That's why today I want to talk about taking off the mask. What does that mean? Why we wear it and how to gently begin living without it. And the truth of the matter is, the reason why I want to teach you how to gently not live without it, because so much of unpacking people think is easy. And it's not easy. It is not easy to change. It is not easy to take off the self that you believe is serving you, that you believe is protecting you, that has gotten you this far. But you gotta unpack because you need to know where it all comes from. Even if something is working for you, you gotta make sure that it is still serving you. When I used to say that I had abandonment issues, right? And so my heart was closed off. Maybe my heart being closed off at that time was necessary because I had not gained or curated the skills necessary to protect myself without having to close my heart. But now that I have learned how to have boundaries, I don't need to keep up the wall. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Sometimes these protections are necessary. But when you step into the world and you are going on this life journey, you will gain skills, you will gain knowledge, you will see information, you will learn discernment, you will go on the alchemist journey and the hero's journey, and you will be a better you. But even when becoming better, you still got to figure out what you need to carry for the next steps of the journey. And I'm trying to think, have I ever worn a mask? And I'm sure I've worn a mask, right? The mask of, because I always tell my truth, but I realized that even my trauma had a mask. I have always told the story of my mom as it is. I have told my family story as it is. But the truth, the reason why I tell the story as it is initially is because I was protecting myself from being judged. I was telling it like I don't care, but I do care. But I wasn't going to let somebody diminish or make me feel small about where I come from and about who I come from. Because yes, it is my story, but it is more of my parents' story, of my mother's story. It is part of who I am. It is not who I am. But now that I am strong, now that I have been able to unpack my life and see my mother through the lens of humanity, I am no longer ashamed. So now I can tell my mother's story with vulnerability. I can tell my mother's story through education. I can tell my mother's story with the lessons that I have learned to be a better me. I am not a victim in the story. Still getting over a cold, huh? But I am not a victim in the story. I have triumphed. I am my mother's greatest wish. I have not let them take me down. And for that, I am grateful. I am grateful that I have the discernment to step into the world as myself. And I keep telling you guys that being yourself is not easy at all. In order to be yourself, you have to be willing to go through life like a motherfucking video game. Because there are going to be people at every step of the way trying to shoot you down, trying to take you down, trying to make you feel unworthy, laughing at you, calling you weird, asking why you want to be not normal, i.e. like the others, why you don't want to be a follower, why you don't want to subscribe to the system, why you don't want to be like them, why you have these ideas that are not like the others. Every fucking day. But I have been saying things for 20 years that people have just caught up to. And the truth is, I don't give a damn if they ever caught up to it. I am standing 10 toes down in who I am, because when I go to sleep and I am experiencing the midnight hour is when yourself meets yourself and you can't lie about who you are. In the midnight hour, I am Marchelle Lanice Wilson. I am an imperfect being. I have lied. I have cried. I have had joy. I have had sadness. I have felt all of the feelings. But even though I am imperfect, I have done my best to be myself. So I will rejoice and give myself grace for being able to stand in who I am. And for my faults, I will say, why did you do that? I will question myself. I will become better. And that is where the discernment and the levels and the joy and the emotional intelligence comes from. It comes from checking my motherfucking self. But many of us got these masks when we were children. Because although childhood is the shortest period of our lives, it is also the most impactful part of our lives. It shapes your adulthood. It shapes your perceptions. It shapes how you see the world. It shapes even your vision. Because remember, eyes can't see, your perception sees. So only you can give yourself a new perception with new ideas. And that is my goal as I shape and as I share my story with you guys. None of us is exempt from critique, but sometimes we got to criticize our own damn selves. The mask. I know there are people wearing masks at work, and I get it. And even if you feel like in the end you still have to wear the mask, know that you are wearing the mask and know when you can be vulnerable enough to take off the mask, because I get it. Everybody doesn't deserve your story, but don't wear the mask for you. Know what you are doing. Be calculated in everything that you are doing. I want to share with you guys some ways to begin taking off the mask. The first thing you got to do is name the mask without judgment. Just say the shit. Because you can't remove what you refuse to acknowledge. Your mask might look like being the strong one. I know there's some of you out there. The easygoing one, the one who acts like they're all right with everything. I definitely don't have that mask, but I know some of you do. The always okay person, or the one who never needs help. These roles often kept you safe, but they may no longer serve you. There are many people in my life that I know are wearing a mask because I see them people pleasing. I see them being easygoing. I see people who judge me because I have no problem asking for what I want, so they call me spoiled or a brat. But I see them wanting and not asking, and then suffering inside when they do not get. And I don't understand that. But that's the mask. That's the mask of wanting people to believe that you okay. But the crazy thing about that is that you're not okay. And guess what? No one trusts you because you're a liar. Wearing a mask is often a lie. Nobody knows who you are. Make that make sense. So I want you to, instead of shaming yourself, right? Thank the mask for its purpose. Thank the mask for how it has served you, and recognize that you're allowed to outgrow it. You're allowed to grow. You are allowed to shift. I want you to affirm yourself, and I want you to say, I honor the ways I learned to survive. And I give myself permission to evolve. I tell you guys that I am all of myself, even as I evolve. I am proud of myself. I have learned to survive. I got survival skills. If I have to go back into my survival bag, I know that there is shit in there. But some of these skills don't serve you everywhere. This is why you got to know which hats to put on where. Right? It's like wearing a black tie ball gown to the beach. It won't serve you there. You'll be hot and looking foolish. And if you jump in the water in your wedding dress, you'll be heavy. This is why you need a swimsuit. Do you guys understand? You got to practice discernment. You got to know. You got to affirm. I honor the ways I learned to survive. That's why nobody can ever make me feel bad about coming from the bottom, because there is privilege in figuring the shit out. There is beauty in figuring the shit out. There is abundance in knowing how to make a way out of no way. And then I want you guys to practice small, honest moments. Taking off the mask doesn't require a dramatic confession or life overhaul. It can start with small truths. This is what I mean by be gentle with yourself. Be gentle. Give yourself grace. Saying I'm not okay today. This is why I keep telling you guys to feel everything you feel. Stop trying to get to joy so fast. You will appreciate joy much better if you allow yourself to experience the sadness without shame. If you allow yourself to experience the mad without guilt. If you allow yourself to experience all of who you are a fucking human being. I enjoy joy because I give myself permission to be. Admit that you need support. You are a human being. We are not perfect. And because we are not perfect, that is proof that we need other people who have other skill sets and other things that we need so that we can thrive and be, right? This is why you have to create and curate a community, a village, so that you can sow into the village and so that you can reap out of the village the things that you are not necessarily good at. And guys, this one may sound crazy, but you got to choose rest instead of performance, because the mask is an actress. The mask is you performing. That is why when Tisha Campbell was talking about it and everyone thinks that she's loud and jovial and always happy, that's a mask to keep the money coming in, because the trauma was that when you come from poverty, you never want to experience that again. So you want to keep the mask on so that you always look like you are ready to work, so you can always take care of your family. Do you see what I'm saying? But she didn't give herself the grace to recognize that although maybe initially you need the mask, you eventually gain the craft. And you don't have to wear the mask, because when you step into those rooms, you can perform. So you don't need to, or no longer need to, perform in the world. You're an actress, so you can be an actress when it's time to act. Right? Authenticity is built in tiny, courageous moments of honesty with yourself. You got to be able to tell yourself that your truth is safe to express, even in small and quiet ways. This is why it is so important to have these conversations with yourself. This is why I relish in alone time. This is why there is nothing about being with someone all day, every day excites me. I enjoy when I am alone. I get to come home and take a hot shower and lather myself down in lotions and potions and grease my scalp and lotion my feet and do all the things and spray my bed with beautiful scents and getting my bed with a good book or turn on some inspirational music so that I can center my soul with myself and get real with myself. Because the greatest relationship you can ever had will be with yourself, so that when people are unable to be with themselves, guess what else I know? I know that you will be unable to be with other people, because if you cannot be with yourself, you will be constantly looking for other people to fill up your cup, but the cup got a hole in it. It's leaking. It's cracked. You got to be with yourself, because how the fuck do you know what you like, what you enjoy, what you don't want, what you don't like, who you are, what you're really looking for? How do you compliment somebody else? Most people are going to relationships asking what that person can do for you, but you never say, hey, this is what I bring. This is who I am. This is how I compliment you. But you can't compliment everybody, which is why so many of us accept bullshit. Because you're just looking for something to fill the void, fill the time, fill the space with empty nothingness, with bullshit. Because you never figured out who you are. You haven't curated a self that you can be proud to present to the world, to find the people that you belong to. Because everybody shouldn't like you. You're not for everybody, because everybody can't compliment you, and that is okay. It's okay that everybody can't compliment you. You deserve to be in spaces where you can exist without performance. And that first place in which you can do that will be alone. And then as you curate your village and curate your family, your chosen family, right? You should be choosing those people based on the fact that you do not have to perform, that you get to be your most authentic self. That is how you set and start boundaries. You can't have boundaries if you don't know who you are. Taking off the mask is not about becoming someone new. It's taking off the fucking mask. It's literal. It's about returning to who you were before you learned to hide. The mask is you hiding in plain sight. And most of the people hiding in plain sight feel unseen. But sweethearts, we can't see you. You're wearing the mask. We don't know who you are. I don't know that you're sad if you're always smiling. I don't know that you're vulnerable if you're always being the strong person. People can't even show up for you with the mask. That's why it's about remembering that survival was just a chapter. It is not your whole story. The journey is life. You are still out in the world living, experiencing, learning, driving, being in the sunshine, being in the water, climbing mountains, having adventures, vulnerabilities, crying, laughing, all of the things are still happening for you. Stop being so mad with yourself as if you are not here. This is why this may sound crazy to some of you, but when people die, it gives me a type of strength. No, I do not want to die. I want to live for as long as possible. But that's the point. I want to live. So when people die, it is a reminder that I should be living. Not just be alive, but I should be living. I should be living a full life. You are allowed to be complex, messy, joyful, quiet, loud, healing, and healed all at once. You're allowed to be seen. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to live a full life. You are allowed to fall down. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to dance. You are allowed to sing poorly. I sing poorly. Ask the world about me. You are allowed to burn the food. Just don't burn the house down like I tried to do last night. You are allowed to be scared. You are allowed to be joyful. You are allowed to even be judgmental. Judgment is safety. But once proven wrong, change your motherfucking mind. You are allowed to curse. You are allowed to be wrong. You are allowed to be right. You are allowed to be scared. You are allowed to be. You are allowed to be. Take off the mask and show yourself to you. Reveal yourself to you. Reveal your vulnerabilities. Reveal your fears. Reveal your shortcomings. Accept yourself as you are for who you are because you deserve you. I'm tired of talking to you guys. Bye.